Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. As is quite obvious, I'm sure I'm here to fill the diversity quota tonight. I'm the only straight white man on the show. I know what you're thinking. Lloyd is white. No, he's not. Lloyd is Welsh. They are the browns of the whites. And actually, with Lloyd and Fern both here, it's nice to not have the most impenetrable accent on stage for once. It's a relief. I would like to begin by asking, what even is money? We know what it purportedly does. It makes the world go round, it talks, it takes time, or rather time is it, and some say it can't buy happiness, but it can certainly rent some at a good hourly rate. But that is what money does. That is not what it is. We can't understand something only by the effect it has on other things. If that were the case, then we'd think sex was that thing that results in me sitting on the edge of the bed and saying, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Do you want to try again? And she's got the blanket over her head and she's like, just don't look at me. Like, that's what turns me on. That analogy only works if you don't think about it. To understand the question at hand as to whether or not the money changes everything, we need to understand what money even is. And so, let us turn back the pages of time to the days of yore, before internet, before electricity, before high-speed travel, before even the creation of cities, and before the time I started saying before a whole lot, which already seems so long ago. So, let us go as far back as 40,000 years ago. That's right, the era known as the Upper Paleolithic, which was a lot more energetic than the era that followed, the Downer Paleolithic. This was a simpler time. Our ancestors had just killed off those pesky Homo neanderthalis, or Neanderthals, as they're more commonly known, or One Nation supporters, as they're most accurately known. Humans were spreading out, settling large swathes of land. Indeed, this is when the first human settlements were formed by Aboriginal Australians in areas which are today Sydney, Perth, and Melbourne. That was, of course, the last time Perth opened its borders. Or anyone ever willingly moved to Perth. Archaeological evidence shows us that in this era, tribes of humans traded with each other, not with money, but with what is known as the barter system. The barter system is when you get something you want by giving the owner of that thing something they want. It's largely organized on Facebook groups for your local suburb by the most annoying aging hipsters in your neighborhood who use it to offload their used sex toys. No one's giving you a toaster for your nipple clamps, Reuben. No one. Let it go. The barter system had limitations, however, as explained by 18th century Scottish philosopher Adam Smith, who in The Wealth of Nations described an imaginary scenario in which a baker living before the invention of money wanted, quote, a butcher's meat, his wording, not mine, Adam Smith, could have written Mills and Boons, is all I'm saying. But the butcher had nothing that the baker wanted. Adam Smith then wrote, no exchange can, in this case, be made between them, proving that Adam Smith never gave a hand job in the walk-in freezer. Daddy's got to have his prosciutto, all right? At some point, humans realize that they can't keep swapping handies for dinner. At least not as the primary method of economical exchange. And so the first terms of money were created nearly 5,000 years ago in Mesopotamia with the Mesopotamian shekel, giving birth to the phrase, shake your shekel maker. Soon, young Mesopotamians were spending money on shekels and hoes. Middle-aged Mesopotamians were singing about working hard for the shekels, and Mesopotamian debt collectors were saying, bitch, better have my shekels. In fact, so important was the development of money to human civilization that the first evidence of human writing we have is not a poem, not a story, nor praise for a ruler or a declaration of war, but a receipt. Writing was developed to make receipts because receipts were the only way of proving you bought something and you paid for it. The oldest evidence of writing in the world today is a receipt for 5 sheep, 1 fully grown lamb, and 4 grass-fed male young lambs, which means they were about to eat some killer doner kebabs. The bottom of the receipt, of course, offered discounts at BWS. See, the creation of money allowed humans to develop in ways that would not have otherwise been possible. It's as old as humanity itself. With money, we were able to pay fair rates for goods and services. Rulers were able to collect taxes. Warring tribes were able to settle disputes. Conservatives were able to come up with bullshit ideas like trickle-down economics. And your parents were able to negative gear the rest of us into a lifetime of rental properties. And I've been able to obsessively check my comedy festival ticketing report every day and see just how poor I am after deciding to follow my fucking dreams. See, as humans have evolved, so has the way we use our money. Coins were recognized as a form of money at the beginning of the first millennium AD. During this time, someone could squeegee your chariot in exchange for a stamped silver or gold coin when you stopped at the lights, often without waiting for permission. And this tradition still continues today. From copper and iron coins, we went to gold and silver. The value of a coin was in the value of the material used to create it, which is why there aren't many coins made of poo. That changed, though, with paper money, invented by the Song dynasty of China in the 11th century, because it was even more portable than coins, which were themselves created because they were more portable than livestock, and was getting to be a real pain inserting cows into parking meters. Paper money was a big change, because the paper itself had no value, but it represented the value of the coins you had at home. And that was huge. Money was no longer worth anything itself now. Its worth and value was in a promise built on trust. We trust that this piece of paper has value, and so it has value. The moment that that trust is broken, it's just a piece of paper. Money is as real as a child's trust in the belief of the existence of Santa, or a married man's trust that his wife will not decide to have an affair 3 months after they got married, leaving him with an $80,000 wedding debt, which he has to pay off because of his argument that money is just a promise built on trust, should therefore invalidate the money spent on the wedding when the promises and the trust of the wedding were built on were broken. So why should anyone have to trust anything ever at all? But the bank doesn't buy that as an acceptable argument. Hypothetically speaking, of course. I'm fine. See, this is how we end up with things like Bitcoin and non-fungible tokens, which some people pretend they understand, but is basically a new form of money created for everyone's younger brother to invest the family savings into. Because he thinks he's a genius on the verge of a new frontier of discovery, even though no younger brothers ever, anywhere, have ever finished fucking high school. At this point, you're probably wondering what my point is, and that's a good point in and of itself. See, money is as old as humanity. And if that's the case, then money cannot change everything because money is everything. Money is language, money is trust, money is human civilization and development, money is trade, money is politics. Sure, money buys you advantage, especially if your name is Christian Porter, and you have $1 million legal defense fund that prevents me from making any more jokes about Christian Porter. But money allows you to rise from the depths of poverty towards a position of advantage. Apparently, no one's actually seen that ever happen before. Money creates art. And I know that that's true because I'm being paid right now to stand here and say this dumb bullshit. And yes, money also causes wars, and money also brings misery and suffering and pain and debt. But guess what? So does love. So does pride, so does water and food, because money is a part of humanity, and humanity is pretty fucking stupid. And if you disagree with that, ask your anti-vaxxer younger brother who believes Bitcoin will make him rich while also believing Daniel Andrews threw himself down a flight of stairs just to get some sick leave. And so, in closing, money is everything. And so it cannot change anything. Which is why I need you to subscribe to my Patreon so I can pay off that fucking wedding debt. Thank you very much.